Yes, what's happening, people? We are back. Good evening, Sunday evening, and a brilliant weekend of football. Super Saturday. If Carlsberg could do Saturday, they pretty much got that spot on, mate. I ain't going to lie to you. Me and Lee Judges are with you tonight on Lee Judges TV. Please make sure you do me a favour from the off and hit the like button if you haven't done so already and subscribe to the channel. We're getting very, very close and nearer to 40k, which is our next target for the channel. So please make sure that you join our community and are there for that. Lee, before I ask you about the game, before I ask you how you are, there's another football prizes, and this one is pretty special, my friend.
Yeah, football prizes. Well, they've done it again, Dan. They've done it again. But this time, it's for all, I think, for all Arsenal fans. Arsene Wenger sign-framed Arsenal shirt, plus 21 instant win prizes. All for £3.95. So £3.95 gets you a chance to win this amazing prize, Arsene Wenger, and all kind of that stun of prizes for the 21 prizes as well, including memorabilia from Bergkamp, Henry, Lundberg, Winterburn, Adams, and more. But most importantly, that is the main prize for this competition is a signed, framed Arsenal shirt of really, the Arsenal, probably the best Arsenal legend manager. I think he's the best. I've got to say that, give us things that I never thought that we'd have, made doubles. What's the word I can say? Made doubles they was easy, you know what I mean? Unbelievable, So Arsene Wenger signed shirt. There you go. Get in there. £3.95 gives you the chance to win that fantastic prize. And it's like you can see there, Invincible 49 signed by Arsene Wenger. What a prize.
It's an unbelievable prize, and to be fair, as you say, they've done it again. Listen, I must say, you must go over to the website because there's not just all Arsenal. I know we do have majority of people that support Arsenal on here, but the ones that do listen that don't support the club, trust me, they have all sorts of memorabilia over there for all signed shirts of all Premier League clubs, and not just football stuff, Lee, as well. They do tickets to Cheltenham, ticket to Monaco Grand Prix. I was amazed when I went on there actually what they do. It is incredible over there. So make sure you go check out our sponsor for the channel, Football Prizes. Lee, over to you, mate.
Yeah, just before we go into the football and all that, just got back from Manchester. Obviously, Burnley not too far from Manchester, so I stayed in Burnley for the weekend, and I went and visited Super Kev. Unfortunately, I didn't go and visit Super Kev at home or down the pub or whatever. I had to go and visit him in hospital. So Super Kevin Campbell. And listen, I know Kevin is listening to the show and watching all the shows back in hospital. Now, listen, guys, he's not been very, very well at all. He's kept it under wraps. I've known about it for a little while, but listen, all I'm going to say is that we're lucky that he's still about. He's on the road to recovery. And I just want to say, if you can get all the messages of love and support for him, that'd be fantastic. But for me, he's a great friend of mine, obviously, not just because he played for the Arsenal. It's just a top guy. And a top guy around the Arsenal community. Does everything podcasts for everybody that wants to do them and just gives you an insight to what it's like in the professional world and playing for Arsenal, So I just want to say from everybody at Lee Judges TV, get well, Kev. We're all rooting for you. And it was good to see him, and he was in good spirits today. And, and I know that he'll be watching, so get well soon, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, I echo the words of what Lee said, and I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of my heroes, and none of them have let me down, but I haven't met anybody like him. Let me tell you that now. So I wish you all the best, mate, and I do hope that you get well soon, and I'm sure once you are well, fit and ready, we'll be sharing a podcast, the three of us again. So we'll look forward to when that day comes. But get well soon, my friend, and we will catch up very, very soon. Something that will have made him feel a lot better, like it did myself and you.
It certainly did.
It was an incredible game of football as far as Arsenal were concerned again, mate. And where I want to start, Lee, obviously you went to the game. I didn't manage to get tickets to this one. I want to start with what we've seen that's different. Now, there's a lot that we've seen that's different, to be fair. And I wanted to touch on a couple of things. And I did it on my channel earlier, and it was actually quite interesting to see how much has changed since the buy. Now, a lot of people have said, has it really changed? Are we just finishing our dinner now? Is it a complete difference? I actually think there's quite a lot that we've worked on. And what I think is really key to give Arteta and the coaching staff a lot of praise for is not just we're now good at set pieces, because there's more than that. It is the style of play that is now looking a hell of a lot more fluid. There's more of a plan B option. And I have seen a lot more changes when things aren't working. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. The set pieces are obvious, right? We were trying to beat the first man. We couldn't do it. We changed it up. We put Declan Rice and Saka on set pieces from corners and free kicks. Managed to score quite a few goals against Palace and West Ham in that way. We've looked a hell of a lot more fluid from open play and scored a lot more goals from open play moving forward. I think the Havertz and Trossard thing is something that we've seen, which is quite different. I think the interchanging of those two players and the late runs into the box from Havertz has been really good. And also Trossard, for me, looks absolutely superb. And for me, but definitely is not getting dropped out of this side this time, in my opinion. The other thing which has really impressed me is when Jacob Kiwior first come into this side, he was not doing too well at left back. The reason I think he's played much better in the last 2 or 3 is because Ben White is now inverting on the right back situation, and he's actually looking really good. It wasn't like, oh yeah, he was all right. Actually, he was looking pretty good, mate. I see his one-on-one defending, and I was impressed. I think the way that he has put himself about and used some of his physical attributes is definitely something which I'll give him credit for. And I have to say, when things go well, when things go wrong, the same thing happens. Mikel Arteta is spoken about, and rightly so, in my opinion, because he is the manager. But the amount of stick that he got for this is on you with Havertz, this is on you with Raya, this is on you with Kiwior. Those 3 players, he's stuck by them. He's been stubborn, and he's made it work. And all 3 of those players at the moment are actually playing well, Lee, Raya included. Now, it's hard sometimes to look at a goalkeeper and go, he's playing well when you win 6-0, 5-0, 4s, and all this, right? But when you look at what he has had to do, he's been good. Kiwior, likewise. Havertz now starting to come into the mix, and more importantly, coming into the mix in a position that I weren't really a massive fan of him playing. Now, I know he has been higher up the pitch in some of it, and we obviously saw him on the score sheet again. But I've got to say, Lee, I'm really impressed by what I've seen by these changes by Mikel Arteta and the coaching staff. I think Nicolas Jover needs to be given a lot of credit in terms of his set pieces that we've improved. And I think in the last few games, not just concentrating just on this one, I think those are the reasons we're sitting here with a smile on our face, bro.
Yeah, listen, first of all, let's talk about David Raya. No one's talking about David Raya. That tells you all you need to know, really. Like, you know, no one's going into the debate at the moment, you know, whether you think it. I still never, we was actually talking on train before going down with a few Arsenal fans I met, the great guys, and they were saying, they don't agree with it, but like you can't argue with it. That's as simple as it is now. You know, you can't argue it. The Kiwior one, like, you know, I've got to say credit to the manager, credit to the coaching staff. They've looked at it in Dubai and said, look, we need to not hang him out to dry, if you like, you know, let's let him come into the Arsenal team. First and foremost, he's young, he's not come into the Arsenal team, come into the Arsenal team. Let him find his feet by defending, doing what he does best. And what he does well is he defends. That's what he does best. He done that really well. Yes, I don't know if you remember it in the first half. Gabriel, I think it might have even been Saliba had a little bit of trouble. Saliba had a bit of trouble. Kiwior come across and just sweeps it up nicely. Proper defending, like, you know. What I like about it is that he's settled into it now. Everything that they do, whether it be a tackle or a header, put it out for a corner and whatever, they're all on each other, telling each other, giving them high fives, but then straight after that, right, let's get back on it, let's concentrate and everything like that. It's superb. I think he's been very, very good. And listen, Kai Havertz, you know, I thought was fantastic yesterday. You know, there's things in the game which probably don't necessarily see. The first goal, 2 players closing him down. If he has 2 touches on that, it's all that. He pops it off to Declan Rice. Declan Rice, first time out to Martinelli. Martinelli's pass to Martin Odegaard and bang, goal. And if anything you can go on tactics, you can say everything there, and I totally agree with that. The reason that Arsenal have just picked it up, in my opinion, to where we are at the moment is Martin Odegaard's just been absolutely breathtaking. Breathtaking, like things that he done yesterday, his work rate. I know he scored, but his passing, everything that he done, it all goes through him, and he's just hit form, Dan, and that has taken us up a level. Other things have worked in with that, like, you know what I mean, like at the end of the day. What's that say there? I can't read that one there.
Yeah, Trey Tanya is agreeing. That's why I put it up. I think the best thing is Odegaard's back in form, and I must say, not just been like the last couple. He has been since probably New Year. I would say phenomenal.
He's come back and been outstanding. The work rate of him is Do you know what? And I've said this before, and I know that it's a gimme, right? I think Roy Keane's always said this, a gimme, like giving 100%, it should be there, like, you know. But if he's not having a great game, you can forgive him because his work rate is all there. There was a game, I can't remember it was, he frustrated me a little bit. I can't remember what game it was, but I'm instantly forgiving him because of his work rate and all that. And I know that's a gimme, but it's not a gimme in football at times. Some players feel that they're so good that they don't have to work hard and all that. But he sets the tone for everything at this team at the moment, like, you know. And I think that that's a really, really good thing. The biggest thing that I can say about, not so much Kai Havertz, but it's definitely like Kivior at the moment. Rice and Havertz, you want to bring them into the equation. I'm not saying that we're missing Shinchenko at the minute. I'm not saying we're missing Tomiyasu at this moment in time. I'm not saying that we're missing Timber at this moment in time. So that's all compliment to him. I'll go to Trossard up front. We're not like Jesus was outstanding against Nottingham Forest then. Now, what you just turned around and said, like, if Jesus is fit, you know what I mean? I'm 2-3 weeks ago, and he comes straight back into say, not now he don't. Not now he don't. Trossard has been outstanding for these last 3 or 4 games. Been outstanding. Started off with that little cameo at Nottingham Forest when he come on. He was outstanding in that, and he's continued it now when he started. He deserves to start and carry on playing at this moment in time, scoring goals for fun at this moment in time. And you're dead right what you're saying. I think that his performances at the moment, not a coincidence that Havertz is playing well, because they're both sort of interchanging and both doing bits of their part to their game that they really, really like. At the end of the day, we've not missed Thomas Partey at that. I will say this, though, as good as Havertz was, as good as Trossard was, as good as Saka was, as good as there was a moment in that game, I don't know if you remember it, we was 2-0 up and they was on top of us and they got through and then bang, along come Declan Rice with a tackle. He smashed the ball and we might have conceded from that last season, Dan, 2-1 and been a little bit of pressure on the game. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, snuffed it out. At the end of it, we go on and win it comfortably. Like, you know, Declan Rice has made such a difference to this football team. I tell you that now, he really, really has. And but I thought the performance was fantastic from start to finish. And the reason why I'm going to say I think it's great, Dan, and I don't know how you feel about it. I was nervous before that game. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. You know, I'm not like, you know, oh, this is the game. You know, you get great wins and then like you get a 6 against West Ham and then you go and slip up against this. So, you know, it was the most comfortable afternoon since the last one. Yeah, so how look at it, like, you know, it was so comfortable. But as you said, like, you know, I did laugh when you messaged me on the way home and said if Carlin done Saturdays, it has to be that lot, because you know Tottenham losing to Wolves, which we didn't believe would happen, like. But then on the train home, I'm watching it on there 1-0, and I'm thinking 1-0 after 20 with 25 minutes to go. I'm still saying that Manchester City are going to win that game, Dan, like, you know what I mean? And then it got into the 80s, and I'm thinking, like, I think they might get something. Then it went 1-1, and I said, typical, they're going to nick it 2-1. I did believe it, but at the end, it ended 1-1. So well done, Chelsea Football Club, like, you know what I mean? So there's not many times you cheer Chelsea, but that was one of them. And all in all, we have to say, fantastic day. Fantastic day.
Listen, it was, and one result you did fail to mention is that we actually have more. Our goal difference is better than West Ham's points in the table, which is quite funny for West Ham fans. We've actually got plus 36, and that's the same amount of points as West Ham have got in the league, and one more point than Chelsea, I might add. And obviously, I'll text Lawless about that. He didn't like it. West Ham losing, Spurs losing, Chelsea dropping points with Man City, with a good result for them. Only Liverpool and Arsenal are the ones smiling at the moment. Man United as well, to be fair to them, because Man United have got a big result, put themselves back in today to mix to the top 4. But as far as the title is concerned, mate, Arsenal and Liverpool were having a cheeky smile when they saw the result yesterday. Yeah, so I think personally, mate, very, 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 very good weekend. But I don't know this stat without saying it, but I can't remember the last time we've won 5 in a row. Have we done it this season, is my question. I don't know that we have, if I'm honest.
Not in the league.
Not in the league. So that is again showing that we are back to our best. And there's a lot of people that are saying that Lee, to me that, oh, well, it was actually all there. It's just that we weren't able to finish the dinner. I disagree with that because I definitely did not see Saka and Ødegaard playing this free-flowing. I didn't see Martinelli. I didn't see Jesus or Trossard. I didn't see our midfield as it is right now. I saw opportunities earlier in the season where Saka would pass it back to Ben White. I never saw Ben White overlapping. It wasn't a thing he did earlier on in the season. There's definitely a change, Lee. So I think people just need to look at it, accept that perhaps we were playing a little bit of a different style at the start of this season. Maybe it is true that people are saying Arsenal started slow like City did, so they tried to go bang at the end of the season. Well, now's the time to go bang and continue this momentum, because what we're doing is absolutely flawless right now. We're not just scraping through teams. And I know people will look and go, oh, calm down. You've only beat Burnley, Palace and West Ham. They're crap. No, we haven't beaten them. We've absolutely demolished them by scoreline and by football. We have absolutely demolished them. Yeah. In terms of the Liverpool game, we dominated them. We didn't slaughter them by 5 or 6, but 3-1 against Liverpool at home. That's a very good scoreline. We've conceded 2 goals and we've scored 21 in the 5 games since Dubai. We have conceded 2 goals, one of them an error by ourselves in terms of the Liverpool game that we had to put in the net ourselves. Like Gabriel ended up handing it in, punching it in. And then the other one is Awoniyi who actually bodies Saliba. So Awoniyi is the only actual player, when you think about it, that scored against us so far in 2024. That's a good record to have, Lee. And we look brilliant defensively, because when you start scoring goals, you start opening yourself up a bit. You're free-flowing. You look like a little bit reckless at the back at times. Not Arsenal. We look absolutely superb at the back. Gabriel and Saliba's partnership is still as strong as ever. You've mentioned Declan Rice. That interception was a world-class interception, mate. There's no doubt about it. It was absolutely phenomenal. And, Burnley, to be fair to them, they would actually look at their performance and say, we gave it a go, but we just weren't good enough. And they were too good for us, because they did give it a go a couple of times. They didn't sit back and try and put 15 players behind the ball like we've seen with some people. Do you know what I mean? So I actually look at our performance and just say, do you know what? Fair play. But I wanted to mention a player in particular who's got a hell of a lot of stick this season. And some have said that he has been disrespected. All the time in football, when Arsenal do well, this player gets compared to somebody, no matter who it is. Oh, well, when Ronaldo, when Messi, when some... I don't care about him. Bukayo Saka is 22 years old. He's not 32 years old, right? He's got now 12 goals, 7 assists. Last season, he got 15 goals and was said he was the best right winger one of the best right wingers along with Salah, right? This season, he's had a poor season, Saka. You know what's happened to him? He looks half the player of ours. Listen, he's had a few bad games, trust me. But this player has now scored 4 goals in the last 2 games and has created or been involved in the majority of those 21 goals that we've scored. He's either been a part of his play that has created it, or giving it a pre-assist, if you really want to call it that, which I can't stand personally, but he's been involved in, or he's had a corner, or he scored the goal. This is one of the most disrespected players in the league for me, man. He's really neutral. I don't understand what more the kid has to do. He's got 100 of goals and assists at 22 years old, the youngest in the club's history to do it. I got so much time and respect for him, man. And I thought he was, again, fantastic yesterday, as he was against West Ham. And I wanted to ask you, why is it that he is disrespected, is my first question. And 2, why do we have to compare him to Foden when he plays well? And why do we have to compare him to Messi or Ronaldo? Why does all that come from? Why can't he just be Bukayo Saka, Lee?
Well, I don't understand it. I really don't. And at the end of the day, when, again, it was Jamie Carragher. Was it Jamie Carragher that turned around and said that Foden's world class and Saka isn't?
That was Rio Ferdinand.
Rio Ferdinand, sorry, it was Rio Ferdinand. It's just listen, Rio, I like Rio, don't get me wrong, but that's just for clicks. It's for just sheerly and utterly for clicks, because if you look at that sensibly, you know what I mean, like Saka's done it in the Euros and in a World Cup, like, you know what I mean? You can't get no higher than a World Cup. I've seen players become world superstars on the back of World Cups, i.e. Brazilian players and whatever, like, you know what I mean? And rightly so. Stoichkov, remember him at Bulgaria? I don't know if you remember was fantastic at Barcelona, but become a world-class performer in the World Cup. And Saka's done that already at 22. Harry Kane was playing for Millwall at 22.
Yeah.
Or Norwich or Leicester on loan, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then become a world-class player. Ronaldo was doing what Saka's doing now in the Premier League. Not as great, if I'll be honest, but he was still starting to show his worth and everything like that. This is a kid that took a poor Arsenal team and carried it for 2 seasons, by the way. You know what I mean? Which no one says about that. Like Foden's been carried. Foden's been carried by world-class players. Saka hasn't. Like, you know, Saka is in the England team on merit. Saka has not had one of his greatest seasons. I tell you, if that's not one of your greatest seasons, but you know what I mean? It's some players can't even get to those standards. Like, you know what I mean? I've had people like turning around and saying Kulusevski is better than Saka. Like, you know what I mean? Two for like an absolute joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of it, like, you know, Mo Salah, fantastic player at Liverpool. Where he couldn't get in the Chelsea side at 22 years of age. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had to go to Italy to earn his stripes before coming back to the Premier League. This kid's doing it now, and he's doing it on Arsenal. So for me, that's the end of it. And I don't care what other people have got to say and all that. Like, just continue doing what you're doing. Like, you know, outstanding again yesterday. One of the reasons that he's doing really, really well now is because I do think with Arsenal have looked at it the way that they played, Dan, and they felt, Mikel probably felt this, that you could not play this sort of football week in, week out, all the way through the season. So they had to just, you know, it's like a long distance runner, isn't it? Like, like paces themselves for a couple of, and then like the last final couple of laps go, you know, and it looks like we're doing that, like a fantastic 1,500 meters run, like, do you know what I mean? So that was it, like, you know, and I think that's what it is with Saka, and I think that he's been, I don't think disrespected. At the end of the day, he's in the conversation. Why are they talking about him? Why are they talking about him? Like, you know what I mean? The reason it is there, you know. And it's the same with Martinelli. You know, he ain't class, Martinelli, and all that. Like, you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. Martinelli hasn't scored in both games. Right? We scored 6 and 5, and he ain't scored. Look at the work rate of him.
Oh yeah,
chasing back and things like that. Like, you know what I mean? What that tells me, Dan, is he's not selfish. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to stay up here and nick myself a goal. He's putting the team before his personal glory. Saka does exactly the same. Like, you know, Martin Odegaard does it all the same. It's not the individuals. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a game of tennis, Rio. It's a game of football, and it's about teams. Yes, you need star players to step up at certain times. Saka does it more than anybody. Look at his statistics against all the top teams around him. Forget about the Burnleys, forget about that. Have a look at his record against Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham, Manchester City. Scored in all of those games, Dan. He's not just a
big game player as well.
Yeah, he's not a bully. Does it all round, like, you know. So for me, listen, let everybody else talk about him. We know how good he is. We know how good he is. Because you know why, Dan? We watch him week in, week out. We don't watch him so and so. Like, you know, I haven't even watched Man United game today, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how well that they've played or whatever, like, you know. But I know how well Saka played yesterday, and that's all that matters.
Facts, man. Listen, I love that segment. I really do. And I'm going to put up some comments that are actually backing up why some of the reasons are valid to be putting Saka in more of respect. This one comes in from Kicks. Saka in that City side, in my opinion, he'd be better than Foden. This next one comes in saying Saka was carrying us on his back for a few seasons ago. And do you know what? Absolutely he was, and still has been in the last couple of seasons. This is what I absolutely love from Robert. Fans will talk about Saka in 20 years like us older fellas talk about Liam Brady. And this is what one of my favourite ones is. When people talk about him, he does the talking on the pitch. And that's what I like about it, because there's a lot of young kids at 22, Lee, that have been speaking about that player, or might think, well, everyone's talking about me and don't reckon I'm better than Foden. They're not too sure if I'm world class. They don't quite know. He don't let any of that get to him. He just cracks on. One of the best interviews last week for Saka after the West Ham game. You got man of the match. Oh, cheers, I'll take it. But I'm disappointed I didn't get a couple more goals. Elite mentality, bro, at a 22-year-old age. That is incredible for what he's done. And when people compare him with Foden and Ronaldo and Salah, and is he the best winger in the league? Is he better on it? That means he ain't doing too bad, as far as I'm concerned, because no one at the moment is comparing Timo Werner with Salah And with why is that? Because he ain't doing very well, right?
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly.
So when people start comparing him to that, and it is the neutrals that love it. Yeah, but he might do all right, but he ain't Salah. I don't want him to be Salah. Salah's done, mate. I want this lad to be Bukayo Saka, because that's a great thing you've said. When Salah was 22, he couldn't get in the Chelsea side, mate. So let's look at it. Cristiano Ronaldo, they're comparing him to Ronaldo now. They're trying to compare him to Ronaldo. They actually aren't. What they did was they compared the first few seasons of Cristiano Ronaldo's career at Man United to Saka's first few years, and Saka's stats are better. That doesn't mean he's going to go on to be better than Cristiano Ronaldo, right? That means that he's going to be a very good player. That's all it is. So for me, if you have a bad game in a Manchester City shirt, it's probably not as recognisable because Kevin De Bruyne has got you out of it, or Haaland has got you out of it, or Bernardo Silva has, or one of those top world-class players. For the last few years, Saka has been playing with Hector Bellerin, Mustafi, Skilacci's, all these people. Wasn't quite Skilacci era, but you get my drift, right? He's been playing with some poor players. So if he has a bad game, it's noticeable because he's star boy and he's supposed to be the one that's delivering every single season. And personally, people that are questioning him this season, I think are just a little bit jealous, really, and don't like the fact that we've got a top talent. So I had to get that segment in there, mate, because I believe personally he is an unbelievable talent.
And listen, Adam put a good point up there. Like, Rio Ferdinand probably saying that because, Rashford's having such a poor season. So
Most overrated player, mate. One of the most overrated players I've ever seen. I don't get this loving for him, mate, at all. Where's he going to get?
We're not talking about how poor he's been this season. So we'll have a pop at Saka, like, you know what I mean, as poor as he is. But listen,
and just quickly, this was the best bit, actually. I'm so glad he put this in. Tech forward. This is fantastic. Rio wouldn't start Foden for England, but he's world class, and he would start Saka. That's what I didn't get. He said that right at the end. He's completely contradicted the whole rant he went on by saying, I'll play Saka. I'm not sure I'm Foden to get in. Or something like that. I haven't seen it.
I love Foden.
I'm like,
I love Foden. Why are we comparing Foden with Saka? They're two fantastic players that both should be
different positions.
Both should be and both should be playing for England. Both should be playing for England. Simple as that.
Well, listen, you had Saka and Foden, to Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Harry Kane, mate.
There
go
you go.
And win that Euros. That's what I'm saying. Go and win that Euros. Listen, we have got to mention the fact that it wasn't just Saka that was brilliant yesterday. You did mention the player I wanted to come to next, which is Martin Ødegaard. I think, I'm going to say it, I think he right now is playing the best he ever has in an Arsenal shirt. And people will look back and go, oh, he's better at these games, better at this game. Consistently, he is showing why he is probably the best player on the pitch in terms of technical ability, in terms of how we lead from the press from him, in terms of how hard he works, and in terms of how he's showing some leadership qualities by example. I've been really impressed in the last 4 or 5 games from Martin Ødegaard. And if that form continues, we will be in a good place come the end of the season, Lee.
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll come very, very close if he continues playing the way he is. Very, very close. Because at times they can't stop him, Dan. Sometimes
unplayable, mate. Unplayable.
Unplayable. His touch, everything like that, movement, work rate, picking the ball up, playing it where he wants to, dictating play. We see it in flashes when he first come to the club. I remember that 3-0. He was 3-0 down against West Ham, put back 3-3, was instrumental in that. But now it's constantly over a basis of 5, 6, 7 months last season. And now he's doing it again now, And listen, everybody, even the neutrals turn around and go, oh, yeah, he's a great player and everything like that, So I like him, what he's doing now. I felt 4, 5, 6 games ago, he would look to have passed that shot that he had in the first couple of minutes. Now his decision making's right again, no hesitation, bang, quality finish. I just think that he's one of the real reasons that we're doing. Also, I've got to say, I think that with the Declan Rice playing where he's playing at the moment, or whether it be Jorginho, because he had a great game when Jorginho was playing there, but also with this Havertz and Trossard combination as well, it's sort of freeing him up as well to make good little passes, little interactions between them two as well. It's just working at this moment in time. 2 away games, Dan, and we come away from the game yesterday disappointed it was only 5. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It just shows you how good it was, you know.
Do you think as well, Lee, like Erdegaard, and I was thinking about this yesterday, I was watching it. He's coming a lot deeper, which is something that he's changed to his game. He was always seen, it was always in our head when everyone's fit, Party in the 6, Rice in the 8, and Erdegaard in this 10 or attacking 8/10. It's actually the other way around for me now. What I'm looking at is Havertz is a lot further forward, and Trossard and him are kind of interlinking, and Erdegaard has kind of been that attacking 8, and I think
yeah,
that's really worked in his favour, man. It really has.
yeah, it has done like, you know, and it's, you know, all of a sudden look, it's great to watch at the moment. There were stages of that game when I didn't think we was playing that well, but if you look back at it, we was just in control, just controlling the game, just tiring them out, if you like, you know, like making them run without the ball, making them sometimes when you got the ball, you know, like the only way I can imagine if you're playing 5-a-side and you can't get the ball off of the team, all of a sudden you just switch off a little bit, don't you? And they get in behind you and you go, where did he come from and all that, like. And I think that's what they're trying to do, just tire you out and whatever, like, you know. And the greatest thing about it, come away from that game, I was talking to my mate Stevie Ballard today, like, you know, and he was saying, I've got the buzz for it, I've got to go Sheffield United now, I've got to go. You know, everybody, the atmosphere in the ground yesterday was sensational, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was really, everybody, you know, it's not only because you're winning, it's great, but all of a sudden, I even think like there was a time when we was winning games and you're going, oh, we're not doing this and we're not doing that, we're not doing this. It don't look good here. We're not playing as well as what we are. But that at the moment, the last 2 games, forget about that. There've been great goals and things like that. We've played really well. We're just playing teams off the park. Quick, incisive football. And, you know, I think, I don't know who it was said today. I think it was Kevin said it today. I'd like to be taking on Man City next week. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you know, and that's how you feel, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you guys and the, you know, people in the chat yourself. I can't wait now to next Saturday. Can't wait, you know what I mean? Like, let's just put the sword on Newcastle. There have been times this season I've been thinking, I'm dreading the game and whatever, like, you know what I mean? But I'm excited by what I'm watching at this moment.
Winning kills it all, mate. Winning for me is then you put all the badness goes away, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I feel you're right. You know, Kev makes a good point. Want to play Man City next? Well, let's hope if we continue this games by beating the likes of Newcastle, Brentford, Sheffield United, we'll be saying the same thing because we'll have them next. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. That's if Chelsea beat Leeds and that gets rearranged. Then we'll obviously have a break, and then we've got Man City. So for me, I look at it and I think, do you know what? We could be saying that in a couple of years. There's no way I can look at this form and go, don't fancy this against Newcastle, Brentford, or Sheffield United. I'm wanting another 9 points, Lee, and that might be, you know. it might sound odd, but it should be, mate.
12 goals. Why not?
There you go, mate. There you go. So, you know, at the moment, that's what confidence does to you, mate. That's what it does.
Yeah.
You know, it bigs you up and you're excited by it. Listen, we've got a super chat, which is going to segue nicely into what I'm going to finish on. We are going to do a proper preview for this game before, so we'll only touch on it a bit. But Romanian Gunner, thank you so much for your super chat, mate. It says, big up for you too. Are you confident for Porto? What does this do to this going into this game, Lee, for you? Because Wednesday's obviously a completely different kettle of fish. No more Premier League. Champions League is back in Porto, a ground that we haven't won at, apparently, in this competition. So, going to be a difficult game, Lee.
Yeah, very difficult game. But look, what I like about this now, and we, you know, again, me and Ken were talking about this today, is that it's a different format now. It's a different game. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing like a league game today against Burnley, I know it's Burnley. We talk about, but we've got to win, got to beat Newcastle, got to beat Sheffield United. This game here, well, draw us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's a different little bit of a mentality, different thing. But I think that this game, well, wouldn't it be great? I don't think we will. If we go over there and win by 3 or 4, I can't see it. Like, you know what I mean? But if we did go over there and spank them, that would then send a message to Europe as well. Like, you know, so I don't think that we will. I think it'd be a cagey affair. I think that what we've got to do, and we were talking about this the other days, is that we go to the Emirates. It's a one-off game. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, basically, we draw the game. But if we get a win in this game, that would be fantastic. Like, you know, I think we'll go there with confidence now. I think we really will. Like, you know, but it's a tough one to say what I actually think and all that. It's a funny thing if you said to me, well, like Newcastle, you can't take a draw, got to win. I'll take a draw on Wednesday. And say, yeah, we'll be all right with a draw. A little bit like when if we go to Manchester City, like, you know what I mean? I'll take a draw. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, I think we can win this game. I really do. But what I do see about this is a totally different game, a different sort of atmosphere. You know, because it's a cup game, because it's over 2 legs. So it's a different context all round, like, you know. But let's just hope we go there and get a result. And I'm going to back the boys. I think that we'll win this game 1 or 2-0. I really do. I really do. Because I think we're on good form and all that. And why not? Why not go for it? Like, you know, why not go for it?
Yeah. Listen, absolutely. Big up to Gunnar Russ, massive friend and lover of the show as well. Big love to me. Says hit the like button, ladies and gents. If you do want one of these behind me, make sure you drop a DM to Russell Hogg Photography on Instagram. Tell him you're a Gunnar and Dan Potts sent you, and he'll sort you one of these out. And there's got a lovely red and white one as well if you fancy that. So make sure that you do that, people, because Russell sort you out because he's a top bloke and a top Gunnar. I agree with you, Lee. I would take a draw because it means obviously we then got them at home and we fancy ourselves to win. But if I'm honest with you, I think we can go and beat them out there because of the way that we're playing, you know. And I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, Lee. I would have gone, oh, crikey, this would be hard. You know, you lose to West Ham, Fulham and Liverpool and you think, got Porto soon around the corner. We don't pick this up. It's going to be hard. So crazy how things can quickly change in football. I think we can go out there and beat them and I think we can get the job done at home as well. It's going to be tough, though, because this is a game or a competition where form completely goes out of the window because it's a Champions League fixture that you go into not knowing too much about your opponents. So I think that's really interesting. You do nowadays with technology, you do your homework on them, but you still don't quite. Still not quite able to do as much as you'd like to because it's a hostile environment. You're going out there to a ground you ain't really played in before. These youngsters that we've got ain't really been in Champions League games as many times as some of the others that will come up against Porto. And Porto will fancy their chances because sometimes I think when Porto are looking at Arsenal, they're thinking, good team, but let's have it. Let's test ourselves. Let's see what we're up against. If it was a team that they fancy, they might go, oh, I should be all right here, boys. Just concentrate on the weekend. But with this one, sometimes it makes it harder because we're obviously playing well, and sometimes that makes the team get up for it. So I do think that could be a tricky one. But my only question I've got to you on this fixture, do we change the team around a bit or do we stick with what we know at the moment? Because away from home, we're doing well with this formation and this style. So where are you at with it, bro?
I think that's a great point. And, one thing I will say on this is that, this is our first knockout Champions League game for a lot of these players. So I wouldn't be against Jorginho coming back in this game just to give us that little bit of experience in the game. I would also say we've got to be a little bit careful because we've got Wednesday, Saturday. So we might have to tinker around somewhere. I don't know where to tinker about, if I'll be honest. But we may have to just freshen 1 or 2 up, So, listen, for me, I wouldn't be maybe going Havertz up front this time, Trossard on the left. Maybe giving Martinelli a break for when we come to Saturday, Martinelli's fresh for Newcastle or vice versa. I don't know. I'm not the manager on this one, but part of me says let's play the same team. But I wouldn't be 1 or 2 players coming in. I wouldn't be too bad about if we was a little bit more defensive, if you like, in this game. But if we go with the same team, we go with it, Dan. Look, we've got a break in a couple of weeks' time anyway. So let's go for it. But I think that we've got to maybe box clever with these next 1 or 2 games. I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm going to do something I don't normally do with yourself on the judges. I'm going to disagree with you because I'll keep it the same. And the reason I keep it the same is because we've been playing 1 game a week. We had a nice little break in Dubai. We've got another week that's coming up. It's probably going to be a nice break as well. This is the only time we played 2 games in a week in God knows how long. And I don't think you should change a winning team, particularly a team that is dominating and actually scoring goals, that many goals against them away from home. And then what I think as well, big up to Russ, who's put a question in the chat as well, which I actually agree with. These players are apparently near to be coming back, particularly Zinchenko, Tomiyasu and Jesus. Obviously, Timber and Partey out a bit longer, but towards the end of the month, they reckon they could both be back as well. So that means that we've got some of these players coming back. Smith-Rowe came on again the other day, so he's now got back to a little bit of fitness. I think we can do enough to go out there, keep the same thing going, and then maybe at the weekend you'll have some of the players back on the bench that can actually come on and take a little bit of tiredness away from some of the legs of some of the players that did well in Porto. So I'm probably going to keep things the same, Lee, because I'm really enjoying watching us at the moment. And I think as well, let's be fair, I know you and I very well. If he tinkers with it and it goes wrong, we'll probably go, what the hell did he change it for? We were winning 5-0, 6-0.
Yeah.
Got to be fair. So I think personally we keep it the same and we go for it.
No. Listen, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying what he might do and what he might be thinking. But
yeah, cool.
if I was managing, I probably would go to the same team. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, and I like to see those other guys on the bench. If I'll be honest, this game, I think that maybe a couple of them were probably might have been even fit enough to go to Burnley, but I reckon that they've stayed at home doing a couple of extra sessions, like, you know, probably yesterday and today, and then like getting ready for Wednesday. I would be disappointed if I don't see the likes of Jesus, Tomiyasu on the bench on Wednesday.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Now that these players are coming back, it weren't long we were going, Christ, getting back in the team, right? Now,
but now that's the greatest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, it's the biggest compliment to pay for the team. Big up to everybody in the chat, man. Absolutely amazing to have over 700 of you here. But I have got one criticism. Why is there only 182 likes? Come on, you can do better than that. There's 700 people in here. We can get that up to 350. That's all we ask. It's only 50%. I think that's fair.
And one thing I've got to say, you know, you said to me like, yeah, it's a Carling done Saturdays like Saturdays. This is the best one. Like, I had a bit of a. I want to ask people. I'll ask you, and I'll ask people on the chat as well. Like, you know, you buy a pair of trousers or a jumper or a shirt, yeah.
Right, where are we going with this? Go on.
No, like, you know, and it fits like a glove. It's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And whatever happens to it, you drop food on it or something like that. Have you ever had that? I've had
it many times.
I've got this lovely pair of trousers that I bought, right? You know, like the old Combats. Love them, right? I've worn them 3 times, right? And I had a bit of food on my fucking fork on Saturday night, like, and it drops off. It fucking rolled down my leg, down like bomb, like. And now I've got grease marks all down my fucking leg. You know what I mean? Like, and I've worn them 3 times, and 3 times once I shit myself. No, I didn't really. No, second night, but every time I've worn these fucking trousers, and I really do like them. Like, you know, I've got food down them, or drop some, or mud down them. Why is that? Everybody's got it, haven't they? So that was the only downside on Saturday for me. Like, you know what I mean?
That is a downside, mate. I remember I went out and we asked the boys not long ago, and they said, "Oh, should we go out for some drinks, or should we go out for food and drinks?" And they decided we go for some food first. We went to a lovely Turkish restaurant, and I sat down. You know, you get them starter bits with the breads and the dips and stuff. They had this chili one and this sour cream one. I thought, I'll have some of that. So I whacked it in, and as I got my glass here, as I put my glass down, I put my glass down on the bloody teaspoon, and it just went, and it just flicked all the sauce all up me. I had a white All Saints like shirt on, and it was red by the end of the night. And I thought, you know, I've only been out like half hour. You know, that can only happen to me. You know, it's just incredible, isn't it?
Sod's law, like, you know what I mean?
You just sit there and you think, and there's nothing you can do, is there? You just think, oh, that's that then, right? We just have to try and make do with this. That's the way it is. So, yeah, bloody frustrating. Let me tell you that.
One pair, it always happens. You know what I mean? Like, I've put them in the wash now. I've seen if they get it all out, put the old stain remover on and everything like that. But I just love these pair of trousers. But I don't know, like, you know.
So. Collins agreed. He said he did the same occasion. So spent at a seafood restaurant yesterday. See, it ain't just us, Lee.
It ain't just us. It happens to everybody, doesn't it? It does happen to everybody, like, you know. So. There you go. So that was the only thing, like, you know what I mean?
Only thing that was a downer on the night. Listen,
you know what I mean? I'm not lying. It was a downer on the night.
Like. A downer at the end of the night.
Do you imagine if that had happened and Arsenal had lost and Spurs had won? I'd have ripped the fuckers off and walked home in my pants. I tell you, like,
would have gone home, mate. End of the night. This is the last question of the night before we close, mate. And It's come from Texas Cannon. Say, okay, Joe Allen. Big up yourself. If this current team played last year's team, who wins? Now, I was asked this was it on
what a
my
good
channel? Was it
question.
on Gal's channel or someone I was on the other day? I was with Kenny Ken and Gal anyway, and we were talking about it, and that was given to us. And last season's Arsenal side against this season's Arsenal side. Now, I would argue that we're actually playing similarly now to how we were last season, but I am going to go last season's just. But I do think it'd be a real good game because I feel we're better as a solid unit with Declan Rice in there, but also the way we were free flowing with Thomas Partey and Xhaka in there was pretty special as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that team from last year just. But if both teams are playing at their best, I'd like to see it because this side is looking to be playing at its best right now. But I don't know, man. I'll probably go last year's just.
Go
go for a 4-4 draw. Like, yeah.
I'll tell you why. Like, you might think this is silly, like, I do think like last season, I think that a little. I'm not. We got away with it a few times last season. A few last minute goals, few little. Do you know what I mean? And then eventually it catches up when you're like a certain team down the road. It's sort of like they could have lost last week, could have lost against Brentford the week before that. Can't sustain it. I think maybe that's what happened to us last season. You know what I mean? We had like a few of those. You know what I mean? Like if you think back, Tottenham had a Sheffield United at the beginning of the season. We had a few like that going, like last minute goals and things like that. I think what we've done this season is a little bit more sustainable. I still think we were better on the eye to watch, and it was better what last season. But I think at the end of the day that this team has just got that little bit more about them. And it's, the midfield last season, like, you know what I mean, is up for debate now, isn't it? Like, Partey and Xhaka, Rice and Havertz, like, I having a conversation with someone on the way home yesterday from Ireland, and he did say, he said Declan Rice is the nearest thing he's seen to Patrick Vieira. And we weren't saying that about Thomas Partey.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, I would personally have Partey, Xhaka and Ødegaard just because I don't know if Havertz is that left eight. But Partey, Rice and Ødegaard is saying everyone wants to see because I think that would be just incredible. And I want to see that.
I do want to see that, Dan. Whether we will or we won't, that would be great.
I really hope we see that to me. But do you remember we come back from Wembley, me and you, Community Shield, and we bumped into Darren Moore and Chris Powell. Chris Powell said to us, Declan Rice is going to be your Patrick Vieira. And we both sort of went, oh, calm down a bit. But fair play to him because he's starting to look like he could be that.
Yeah, he did say that.
Vieira.
He actually said,
I don't think he will be, but he looks that sort of attributes, that sort of monster of a player, doesn't he?
Yeah. And do you remember both turned around and said to us, didn't they? If they didn't say Arsenal going to win the league, but they said if Arsenal win the league, it was because you signed Declan Rice. Do you remember they both said that, didn't they?
They did. They both said that, mate. And I remember sitting at the time thinking, I don't think we will win the league. They were like laughing at us both. But I was
no. They said that both of them turned around and said, we're not saying that you're going to win it, but if you do, it's because you signed Declan Rice. It took you to a different level.
Yeah.
And that was in the Charity Community Shield, wasn't it? Which is like first game of the season, so that just shows, doesn't it? Like,
before a ball was kicked in the league, mate. That was interesting, man. Interesting. Listen, we're going to wrap it up there, people. Make sure you do us a favour. Let's see what likes we're up to now. What are we up to now? We're up to nearly 250. Come on, people. Let's try and get up to 350 before this stream ends. All you got to do is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get us towards our next target, which is 40k. Come and make sure you're following myself and Lee Judges. If you do want to come and show some love on Football's 12th Man podcast, that would be amazing for my channel, which we're getting up to nearly 20 now, which is great stuff as well. So love to you all for that. Much appreciated. Lee, I'll let you say the last words. You see us out, mate.
No, listen, thank you very much. Have a good week. If listen, one thing I want to say, like, there's a load of trouble with the trains and everything like that on Saturday night from Burnley. Like, a lot of people couldn't get home. I hope every gooner got home and safely as well. Like, and also all the Arsenal fans travelling out of the port. Have a good time. Be safe. Come on, you Gunners, and we'll see you next time. Have a good week, guys.
Take it easy.